the realest, best podcast in the game.
You Gucci?
Yeah, I was watching TikToks.
Oh.
I said y'all was ready, but nobody said anything yet, so I'm confused.
Because you usually pop it off. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
we
intro.
But we don't start with intros anymore. We just start talking.
True.
So
I got a joke for y'all.
And I thought like y'all were speaking, and that's why you said we ready.
Okay.
Then I stopped listening to TikToks, and it was dead silent. So I was like, how are y'all ready if y'all weren't talking yet?
Yeah, we ready. I got everything started. But I do have I got a joke for y'all in honor of the Olympics. What do runners eat before they run?
Nothing if they're good.
True, nothing. They fast.
That's pretty good.
You know, I was washing my hands today. And you know, the paper, I wonder if the paper towel or the people who set the length of the paper towel look at that first paper towel that comes out and says, yeah, they'll be able to dry their hands with this. Like, do y'all ever just look at the house?
I don't think you're supposed to use the first paper towel. It's like the first piece of bread.
Right. It's just the one that like is glued to keep it.
No.
At the end, if I'm really hungry, but usually no.
Them last two pieces we just throw away.
Most
but I'm
bread,
talking about
I'd
not
like
like
go
the first,
bad
not the
before
first one. I'm talking about like when you stick your hand under there and it's like the first, and you like just that little piece. Like you can't dry your hands with that.
Yeah. I know
Oh, you're talking about like if you're in like a public restroom.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand that, but I think it's just set to like release the same amount all the time.
Yeah.
I need a longer piece.
If it gave a super long piece,
I'd be taking like 3.
I don't know. 4. It just seems like, I mean, it makes sense, but I feel like what would be the alternative? Just a really long piece that comes out?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, cause who's drying their hands with just one piece?
But who's drying their hands with one paper towel anyway?
No, but well, some people do. I don't know, but
probably white people.
I don't
No
even think
disrespect.
white people do.
True. You're probably right. I've seen plenty of white people just walk out after using the bathroom. So, and it's always confused me. Like, you do know I can see you in the mirror, right? Like, I'm washing my hands and I just watch you pass.
One of my homies
behind me.
actually gave like he's not white, but he is, I guess, not black. He's black, but not black. He's, like Asian and black, but he's completely Asian looking or Asian passing. So nobody knows he's black unless he tells people, yeah, I have a black dad who I've never met, which is really bad for stereotypes. But anyways, he explained that as a man, it's really easy to pee without ever making contact with your penis. And if you don't make contact with your penis, he feels like he doesn't need to wash his hands. So if he takes off his pants, pees, and then wipes without ever making direct contact with his penis, he will leave without washing his hands. And so that's his explanation for it. And whereas I was like, I understand that logic because I actually apply that logic when I'm at home. Like if I'm at home and I like don't touch at all, then I won't wash my hands. But when I'm in public, I always wash my hands because I know someone's going to be like, that nigga left washing his hands.
Disgusting. Yeah, no, I definitely apply that logic at home. But it's not like it's not that I don't wash my hands. I hit the water and like rub the water. So it's like I don't thoroughly wash my hands, but I still wet them. Nothing. But it's still, in my mind, it's like it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? It's better just, it's better than just straight walking out. Because that's, I don't know. It's different. It's mad different.
I also feel like just in general, like this really came up for me with COVID. Washing your hands is just a really inconvenient task.
you'd be so ashy
like
afterwards.
it just the process of that stage that your hands are in when you've just dried them, whether it be with a paper towel, napkins, or like cloth, whatever it is, and so they're not wet, but they surely are not dry, and therefore like everything you touch from then on out has this weird feeling to it. It's very inconvenient, and so whereas in public, if you use the bathroom, you should definitely wash your hands, just because people are gonna judge you if you aren't, and I guess that's like stupid, but it's also like, if my only representation of you as a person is that you came in the bathroom, peed, and then left, now I just think you're a filthy individual. Like, I think you're ill hygienic, even if you aren't. So that's my whole thing. I do a lot of things solely like about hygiene solely because like I don't want people to think I'm ill hygienic. Like if I have people who are like guests at my crib, I don't clean because I care about it looking clean. I clean because if they think I'm dirty, then that's like an inaccurate representation of me. Even though everyone's house is dirty at some point. So like
very much so.
What is the point? And there's a difference between coming to a house and it's like, oh, this is natural living dirt versus this is a filthy individual. But I feel like people do not make, at least in our culture, do not make that distinction.
Yeah.
They come to your crib and it's not clean and they're like, oh, you're just dirty. But they don't say that to you.
There's a Twitch streamer, a part of this group that I don't know what the name of the group is, but his name is Kai. And he lives in New York, and he got out of his gamer chair, right? Because I forgot what was going on. I think he was like talking about a female, like with his chat, and like I think he was like on the phone with her, and like he was about to like either link up with her or she was about to hop on the Twitch with him. And so like he hop up out of his gamer chair and he like doing push-ups or whatever, and in the corner you see a rat run by.
No.
Yeah. And so I'm sorry. Chat going crazy. They like rat. He's like, why y'all talking about a rat? Y'all seen a rat? He's like, wait. And then he goes back and like looks, and then he like screams, and then he just sitting there looking at the camera because everybody was blaming him like, yo, you dirty, you got rats. Somebody called him. His whole boy called him, was like, yo, how you got rats in your crib, yo? What's going on, man?
That's
and he said that had the one you know how folks can make themselves cry. He had that one tear falling. That was hilarious. That was one of the funniest clips I've ever seen of him.
That's particularly unfortunate because as a person who grew up living in New York, having vermin isn't even a sign of if you're filthy or not. Like, especially during the winter, like, genuinely, the only time I've been in someone's crib during the winter, like someone I've been in their crib with some level of frequency and not seen a rat or a mouse, is if they were white. And I don't know why that's the case, but like, and it's not even like white people don't have vermin. It's just like, they don't. They're polite. They don't come out when there's guests around. But like regular people,
rats though.
Facts. Yeah.
But like there's like you can make every provision possible. Like, and if a rat wants their way in your crib in New York, they're gonna find a way in your crib.
I just remember when he was on the phone, he was like, it wasn't a rat. He's like, what was it then? He's like, a mice.
It's mouse.
It's right. It's singular. It's mouse. But honestly, I think it might have been a mouse because it wasn't like a subway rat. Like it wasn't. You could tell it wasn't one of them puppy size.
I mean,
ones.
there's a difference between like rats
Splinter.
and then like very huge rats,
right?
Even in New York, but it probably was a mouse. The problem with people in general is that they don't. Mouse doesn't just sound as bad,
right? Yeah,
like that nigga got mice in his crib. It's like, okay, but he also is the only one here who has Grand Theft Auto, so we're going over there. Versus that nigga got rats at his crib. I don't care enough to play video games today. Like it has a different level of weight to it.
Right. It feels different once you hear it.
That's crazy. I feel for him. So did the girl ever actually come on the Twitch or?
I don't know because I just saw that clip. It was just like ripped and put it on TikTok. He is a very funny individual though. He was on one of the where they line shorties up in a warehouse and smash or pass
just
them.
a smash or pass in person.
Yeah, I need my people to be released from the shackles of shooting these videos.
They are so funny.
They are hilarious.
I've yet to see
both
one
male
that
and
wasn't
women.
hilarious.
I need y'all not to do this anymore. Have y'all seen the one with the white man?
No.
Oh my goodness. So it's only like I think like 7 girls, but the first one was holding a baby, and you might.
Why'd she bring the baby?
I don't know why, because it was an arm baby, so she had to have brought it. But like, he walked up to her, he was like, "Hey, you fine?" She was like, "Thank you," and he was like, "Pass." And the girl next to her was like, "Oh no!" And then he smashed everybody else but her, and it was just like, "It's that baby, bro."
Baby, or she had. Speaking of the baby,
that baby, man.
Oh, speaking of the baby. They're putting him in the pack right now, man.
Yeah,
I saw something that was
against
saying
the alphabet
Woods.
community.
They're putting that man in good.
I saw
woods.
Apparently, that wasn't the worst thing he said.
You probably said worse.
During that rant?
Yeah.
Well, what else was there? Because I just saw the whole, like, 2-minute spiel, I guess. Not 2 minute, but, like... There's a lot of
No, I
people
thought
just...
thing.
during his set, or people were saying during his set that wasn't the worst thing he said. I don't know. Did y'all watch any of the live streams for Rolling Loud?
No. I don't like festival live streams. I've only watched, like, 2 ever, and I didn't, like, enjoy them. So I was just like, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah,
I don't like that you can't hear the crowd. Like, you only
During the
hear...
live stream, yeah.
Oh, so you only hear the audio,
Yeah. It, like, is going straight from...
the
So it makes it
microphones
seem
and the
like
instruments and
it's
stuff.
dead in there, but it's really not. But
I mean, from a live stream standpoint, it makes sense because it's like
Yeah, I
you
mean,
have
it
to
makes
feed the audio
sense.
in from somewhere, and it's
but
like
it's
if you
just-
don't mic the crowd up, then
it just takes
But
away
it
from
doesn't
the experience.
make the live stream enjoyable.
yeah, very much so.
Like, it can be the best possible thing. It's just, it doesn't really...
But I'm just trying to figure out why he thought what he said was okay.
Because he's the baby?
But
That
that,
right
like,
there.
Shout
he was
out-
like
I-
deadly disease, like
Hold
HIV
on.
and AIDS ain't been deadly for a minute.
Because shout out... Y'all know the fat black dude that has a podcast and a TikTok, and, like, his TikToks are all just, like, clips from his podcast? I
Probably.
follow him. I'm going to find him his name right now. Because shout out to him because he had just the perfect, most flawless take. This
Does
may
he,
take a
like-
while. I follow 272 people on TikTok.
Is he like sitting on a couch and he has a handheld mic?
No,
and
it's
it's
not
more
handheld.
than okay. So it's not the one I'm thinking of.
And I don't know I don't know if what he's sitting on is a chair or a couch, but it's definitely not a handheld mic.
Yeah, a lot of people. I've seen a lot of
While
people.
I'm searching for his name, basically his take on this, I thought it was flawless. He was like, I don't know what y'all be expecting from particular rappers.
Facts.
When it comes to like what they're gonna say. He's like, the baby kills people.
Very much so.
Oh, I know
And
what you're talking about.
Y'all are
I think
asking
I
this
seen
person who kills people to be in any form politically correct. You're asking
And
for a lot.
considerate.
You genuinely are. And beyond, not in any way to excuse the things he said, but beyond just the fact that he kills people, it's like, I feel like as a people, when I say a people, I don't mean black people. I just mean like fans and consumers of entertainment. We have to decide, I think, at least on a case-by-case basis. So meaning every time someone's bubbling and on the cusp of fame, right? What it is we genuinely expect from them.
That's a fact.
Because we're at this age now that we've never been in history where we don't only want you to be talented, we also want you to be an all-around good person. And a bigger thing is you're not allowed to necessarily have ignorance about particular things.
especially that thing.
You have
Yeah.
You have to be well versed enough to know that not only do you have to be a good person, but you have to also not say anything that steps over the bound. I really cannot find his TikTok. This is crazy.
I think you sent it to me.
I probably should have. This is. I feel like I've scrolled through 272 names by now. Why have I not? I didn't even know I followed that many people on TikTok.
I follow
Okay,
way too
well,
many
I
people
didn't
on
find him,
TikTok.
but shout out to him. I know I follow him, and yeah, shout out to you, my guy. But yeah, I think it's important for us to kind of figure that out because I think it will make things a lot easier come not just situations like this, but whenever people kind of fall short of the mark of whatever it is, I guess, we want celebrities to have. Because there's a difference between someone who, like, I have a talent and a craft, and I do my talent and craft to a level that produces entertainment that you enjoy and consume and you like consuming, and because of that, I am now successful.
So we can't.
And someone who is a celebrity. I think right now, celebrity is just a term reserved for how much fame you have.
Yeah.
And I think that if we're raising the requirements, we should, as a people, charge what we put stock into, like, when it comes to who we make and deem as a celebrity.
Right.
Because the biggest things that are said when any celebrity falls short, particularly when it comes to words and not like things like R. Kelly or Bill Cosby, right? Where there's like a they're specific literal physical victims of things, but versus people who say the wrong things.
Yeah.
There is, I guess, the biggest thing that's said is that as a celebrity and as someone who is in the limelight, that you have a responsibility to like the general public, to fans, to people who look up to you and all of that, to not articulate things that are harmful to marginalized and oppressed groups and peoples. And who do you actually expect that from? Versus, oh, I like this person's raps. Now they've fallen short of that, so now you have that expectation is being put on you after you failed it.
Right. And they don't even have that expectation for them for their music. You like the fact that he talks about killing other black people. You like the fact he talks about dealing drugs to other black people and stuff like that. But he talks about a community that, you know, gets enraged at almost everything. Not saying, not everything, but a lot of things. Granted, he was kind of out of line in what he was saying because there's plenty of people who have HIV that have never had, you know, any type of homosexual relation.
And beyond just having not only HIV, but any STD or STI, it's not an indicator of one's character.
Right.
Or death, because he said like deadly diseases.
Yeah. Or having a deadly disease, I guess.
I forgot the deadly disease part.
He did, or the deadly disease. But it's just like, I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers, and I was like, is it possible to separate the person from their art? Like,
somebody said he's not that good.
I can like your art.
And that's an argument that can be made.
That is an argument that can be made, because, I mean, he just got here.
Yeah.
Literally.
2 years ago.
Yeah. And it's like, so you're new here, and him not knowing Questlove kind of,
that makes sense, but that is, for me personally, that's one of those things where it's like, okay,
you could have did your Googles.
Not even, you didn't
Why
have
would
to
you do
Google.
your Googles to someone who you feel slighted by, or
Right.
feel like they're going out there
Like,
with a
you should at least know who he is.
You should
If
know
you're
who
saying
Questlove
that,
is.
if he's saying like, bro, I don't even know who you are for real. Like, he does
hasn't
know,
been
but
on
he's
the
trying to
Kimmel
like,
Show? I feel like he's performed on the Kimmel Show before.
who?
That don't mean he know who Questlove
The
is.
baby.
He hasn't.
Oh.
Even if he has, that don't mean he know who Questlove is.
Yeah, he could just be the dude with the fro over there.
Yeah.
To him,
I think I agree that you should know who Questlove is, but it's also like,
at least as a rapper.
it's hard to like make a charge against him when like a whole generation of rappers, literally like the generation that's the big artist now, came in like, I don't know nothing about none of that old music. I don't respect none of them old niggas. I don't care. I'm not even a rapper. I'm a rock star. I do what I want. And we was like, okay.
Yeah.
And all the people who was like, that's not cool, was called old niggas and like in love with like 90s and like get with the times.
Right.
When you had Uzi and Yachty and Kodak and all these niggas being like, I don't listen to hip hop.
Yeah, right.
But I make hip hop music. So it's like, whereas, yeah, like, now, if,
Insane.
to your point, if you know who Questlove is and you said that to just say that, that's clown moves. But only you know that, or the people
Right.
around you. But if you genuinely don't know who Questlove is, like, shame on you, sure, but like, not shame on you, because like, do I expect the baby to know who Questlove is? The baby ain't never listened to The Roots. I would have bet everything I own
to
on
the
that.
Roots, but I know who Questlove is.
But the baby's spending majority of his time outside.
True.
You have enough time to have and that's another thing. These real street dudes, bro. These street dudes who just start rapping out of nowhere, like, all of their morals, codes, and scruples are built on like the streets, which, depending on where you are and how things are molded around you, is very outdated. Like, if you're on the block, but depending on who you're around and who you're with, you can say a lot of really racist, colorist, homophobic, fatphobic, transphobic things,
And it'd be okay.
and there's not a single person who's going, you're not allowed to say that. You know what I mean? I recently had an experience where I was watching someone who I know who's a gangbanger story, and he said the R word. And I was like, should I swipe up and tell him that, like, you're not supposed to say that word no more? And
Retard.
Oh, that's what I figured.
and I was like, I was thinking about it, but I didn't. And then 3 slides later, I see, good thing I didn't, because he probably would have blacked on me instead of on his story. Because 3 slides later on his story, it was, I say what the F I want. So I was like, he knows. He does not care.
And there wasn't an issue with with everything he said is
The
just
baby?
Yeah.
Yes, but he said too much bad.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely was gonna say this. Up until the point that he said a lot of you niggas is suspect, and then him and his DJ started saying all of that stuff, I was like, up until that point, like, sure, he probably was talking about gay people, but he could argue that I didn't say anything about gay people. He was like, if you didn't suck nobody D in the parking lot. That could be about anybody. He could just be anti-sucking D in festival parking lot.
Exactly.
If you have, yes, he named HIV, which has historically been, called and known as a gay disease, but he could have made the argument like, that's y'all like taking historical context and projecting it on me. I didn't say that. But when he started saying a lot of you niggas are suspect, he was like, oh, you're definitely talking about gay people now, brother. You're down bad. I thought the more damaging thing that he said, let me not say the more damaging thing. I think the things about the gay community are like about the gay community. I think the things about HIV and deadly diseases are just widespread. That's a very human thing. Like you're attacking all color shades, creeds, types of walks of life of individuals, because people having HIV the numbers are large. Yeah. And if you add in any other STDs
you
and
was
STIs,
talking about Magic.
And
I know you know who Magic is.
And then if he just doing deadly diseases, that mean if you had cancer, he was telling you not to put your hands in the
Right.
there. You got sickle cell anemia. You got this. You got that. Like, you just out of pocket. And I think that, for me, that felt like it would hit even more people.
Off the wall caller responses ever.
Facts.
And then it's the fact that, to me, like, okay, you see that people are coming, like, you had Madonna come out, you had what's the white guy, Elton John, like, but just apologize and move on. Put out a hit single.
The baby don't put no Lil Nas X, Madonna and Elton John say. You don't care what they say
at all. And the craziest thing is,
that's how you get forgiven. Just put out a hot song with Lil Nas and everybody.
See, but that's the thing. He's not really caring about. He's not really caring about being forgiven, because I'm pretty sure.
But he's losing money now.
But I'll tell you what, he's not losing money because of what he said. He's not losing money
for none of the festivals. He get paid for a festival up front, and there's no back end.
Yeah, so. He's not. He
didn't lose his festival money, but he probably future opportunities like the ones he's getting take off of. He has that money already.
And even still, that makes it even more apparent that this is for the festival's publicity. Yeah, marketing. At the same time, this is marketing.
Well, they can't ask for the money back.
True, they can't. So but at the same, they could. They can, you know what I'm saying? Tickets, but at the same time,
say if you're was contemplating going to a festival, and you see, the baby's not going, I could probably go there because they stand for something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's for them it's money. They don't really care. You know what I'm saying? For them, it's like,
that's just the corporation standpoint on all of these things.
We got to take him off we just got to take him off the lineup.
I can tell you one thing, he's not going to get dropped by that label.
No, he's not.
Because he's the breadwinner.
I think, well, Tusi's coming up now, but it doesn't matter.
But I didn't even know him and Tusi was on the same label.
Well, they're both signed to South Coast Music Group. Okay. And in I don't know if they're under the same majors, but the independent North Carolina label, that they're both signed to the same one of those.
That's the bruh. That really be crazy, because when you really go into look,
North Carolina, my bad.
It's I think you said North Carolina.
Oh, I thought I said South Carolina.
No, you said North.
Whichever one.
Yeah, where we know where you're from. The craziest part about labels like Atlantic and Columbia, you would assume that they wouldn't have as many people as they have. But like, I remember me and Jarvis was in his garage one day. We were just talking about, random artists. And I think we were listening to No Cap at the time. And he just started looking like on the roster. He's like, yo, he signed to him? I didn't even know that. Mm-hmm. He signed here. He signed here. He signed here.
Yeah.
He signed here. Like, first of all, I didn't even know you was signed.
Well, that's another conversation that I think is important to be had, because labels have started getting smart. Back in the day, like 90s and 2000s, not only did you have to be signed to like anybody to hear of you, but also it had to be known you were signed.
Right.
Now in this era where independence looks so cool, a lot of labels have started fudging the numbers. They're signing artists and then letting the artists act like they're independent, and then saying they're signed like project or two in, but they've been signed the whole time. And so a lot of times these localer artists that we think, oh man, I watched him come up from the Gristle. When you heard of him, he was already signed. You like the people watching coming from
I feel
the
like the
his
reason
aunt.
you heard of them is because he was signed.
Yes, but they don't realize that. Like I had that experience. Not that I was like thinking, oh, this person isn't signed, but when I first heard Polo G, the first song I heard was Finer Things, and I was like, oh, like this dude kind of seems like, you know what I mean? He's okay. He's a smaller Chicago artist. He's doing his numbers,
Right.
But this could be done independently. He was signed,
Yeah.
but like unbeknownst to me, he was
Right.
signed, but he was signed. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, okay, he's signed. Well, that's wonderful, but a lot of these dudes are able to, well, not just dudes, a lot of these acts are able to kind of have that mirage of independence, which is why the ones who are truly independent are like really like loud about it. It's like you're never gonna hear Russ or Chance shut up about being independent because they're actually it. Well, people have the debate on if Chance is actually it because he has big corporate deals with labels or with like music distribution and stuff, but nevertheless they understand that what they're doing is just like immensely more difficult than what the dudes who are acting like they're independent are doing.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think it's a good time to intro. I was just watching our last episode that we put up with my girlfriend the other day, and I kept telling her, nah, like we're gonna intro soon. Like we never introed.
Yeah, no, we never introed.
Yeah. So
We started talking about Grownish, and then from Grownish, we just kind of hopped into it.
So, with that being said, you already know who it is. You know what I mean? You know what it is. If you are a regular member, if you're not, then allow us to introduce you to the Youth Speak Out podcast, YSO podcast by the youth, for the youth, being a voice of the youth by giving a voice to the youth. I'm your host, Emmanuel Lyons. They call me Saint Even. You can just call me God's favorite. Did you not have one ready?
Jadakiss.
That's a person.
That is a person.
But I'm Jadakiss.
It's recording, yeah. Yeah. So you already know. Since you're Jadakiss, I think it's a good time to hop right into this. My flag. He already.
Oh, I mean, well, you already know who it is, man. It's Drew. It's it is cuz.
Jadakiss is staying those verses.
My flag is flying at half mast. Because everybody
with the
knows.
diplomats.
Everybody knows. Since I was knee high to a grasshopper, I was like the unofficial like 7th member of Dipset. All I ever wanted to be was Killer Cam, and the Locks won. And I can be man enough to say that. But I want to say that had I known how it was going to be played, even though I'm still a bigger Dipset fan, I would have predicted the Locks to win. I thought, especially because Kiss already had his own verses with Fab, I thought this was going to be Crew Cuts versus Crew Cuts 20. 20 Diplomat records
Yeah.
with the whole crew, or maybe not, but just 20 Diplomat records versus 20 The Locks records. And I thought if they go far enough to make it at least the big 3 of the Diplomats have to be on each one, and the big 3, well, there's only 3 Locks members, but there was time where Sheik wasn't Locks. So if Sheik has to be on it, I was like, those 20 records against each other, the Locks, they got classics and they got hits and this, that, but they don't have enough hits in that regard to keep up with Dipset.
No, they don't.
And that's why I thought Dipset would win. By round 4 or 3 or 4, I realized, oh, niggas is not playing how I thought they was. Jadakiss was doing remixes that was only featuring Jadakiss, but said featuring the Locks because he wasn't a solo artist yet.
Right.
They was doing mixtape verses and
That
remixes. I was like, this is
When
like
he
the
played
ninth
that Who Shot Your
remix.
Freestyle, I was like, oh.
I was like,
It's
okay,
lit.
and that Who Shot Your Freestyle really like, I've heard Kiss for years say he's top 5 dead or alive. And I'm like, your pen's crazy. You're one of the greatest, you're a god MC for sure. But I never really was like, I'm going to put credence into it. Hearing him do that live at his age, right then and there in that environment in MSG, I was like, he really may be top 5.
Bruh, that man rapped for 2 hours. It didn't sound out of breath not once. All vocals, by the way. No tracks.
He's MVP.
He really
All
earned,
Black Mamba of the vocals,
He
bro.
really earned that Black Mamba photo with the
He really
champagne
did.
and the leather. He earned
He
that.
put the Locks on his back and carried them to victory.
And that's why I said on my story, it became a Kiss concert featuring Sheik and Styles P. And then I was like, because it was, I think, so early on, it got so Kiss heavy for the Locks. I think that's why then they just started like having Cam records. I think also Dipset could have had like some better choice in records.
Yeah, they left some fire on the table.
Yeah, they definitely left fire on the table. It was impossible for me to keep track of rounds. I'd say around round 5 or 6. At that point, I was like, what's happening? By round 8, I literally was like, they're doing what they want to do.
Yeah, because it was some rounds they played multiple songs.
They was doing medleys.
Yeah, Joel's messed up when he said they ain't got no lady rock. Are you serious? We got Grammys.
And
they don't know what Grammys look like.
And
they know what Grams look like.
That was a fire
He
record
chose
to come
violence.
back with. But it's still not bigger than Hey Ma.
It's not.
Of course not.
But that was a fire because I even forgot it. Like when Joel said, I was like, yeah, these niggas was too busy talking to the streets. And then they put that on. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot they do have this song. But
Then they played All About the Benjamins after they played, was it Dipset Anthem or Ballin'?
the thing was after Ballin'.
Yeah. I
Um,
was like, oh my God.
Ballin'.
I missed it. I was recording with my boy.
Turned it
Mac
up.
23. Shout out my boy.
That's when Joel's had a battery pack in his back.
Yeah.
He was dead before then, but
I will say that I really realized the Locks, no disrespect, legendary group, 3 amazing pens, 2 of them God MC level. They was getting tossed around label wise. They
Yeah.
was Bad Boy, Rough Riders, Rockefeller. Like
Yeah.
they were signed to everybody at some point or another.
That's
like,
crazy.
and I realized it in the music. I'm hearing them do Rough Rider cuts, then Diddy cuts, D Block cuts. I'm like, you niggas was on everybody's label. Oh my lord!
They probably had a little bit more understanding of how labels work like at the time. So it was like, all right, we're gonna get what we get and then we're gonna dip because there might be a better deal. There might be a better deal over here, or it might be, easier for us to just, use so and so for however many, however many projects we want to do.
labels were signing them to veteran minimums in their prime. That's crazy.
Facts.
But yeah, that Verzuz was crazy. One of the best verses of all time, in my opinion, off Kiss alone.
facts. His performance was amazing.
Yeah.
His MC voice is crazy.
Yeah. Kiss is bonkers. I realized he had a favorite gun because he has like 6 blue steel bars about the same pistol. So I'm like, oh, that was clearly your favorite gun.
Nah,
Had
for
to
real.
have been.
You definitely okay. When they
Probably
started
lasting
shouting
longest.
out all of the Bloods locked
That
up,
was funny. Now, when Styles shouted out Max B, that was hilarious.
that was hilarious too. That was very funny.
Bro, I forgot who. I saw a tweet. They said, "Yo, people from New York treat Max B like Nelson Mandela."
Somebody said
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela wasn't wavy.
That's a fact. He surely wasn't. No disrespect, but he was not Wave God.
What year did he die?
Mandela 13, I think.
Okay,
Or
because I
14,
was like,
something
yeah, we was in high school, but I felt like he was. When he died, I thought he was dead already.
Yeah, that's what. I mean, that's why the Mandela effect exists. Well, it's named after him.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, everybody thought that he was dead. Like, there were people who thought he died when he was in prison. There were people who thought he died when he was president, and like people.
I
Like,
knew he didn't die in prison because I knew he got out.
Yeah, but like when he died is kind of when like that Mandela effect really like became.
What's the Mandela?
A Mandela effect is when like people's memory of something, like the mass spread memory of something, is incorrect. So like one of the biggest examples is the Bernstein Bears. Everybody like remembers it as Bernstein, like you remember it as Bernstein.
Yes.
That's not correct. Every Bernstein Bears book that exists that anyone can find now says Bernstein Bears. It's Stain.
Stop lying.
Oh God.
You know what's
But
crazy?
But we all vividly can visually and know that it was Bernstein because we don't even pronounce it.
Burns. Yeah, I always say
yeah,
Bernstein.
But it's not.
One
and
of the
there's
other
no
ones-
physical proof of that book now for us to
Yeah.
uphold our point. And so
'Cause, yeah, we
Mandela
don't
effects
have
are
one
things
anymore.
like that. And it's named after him because everybody thought he was dead way before he was dead. Like people vividly remember attending and watching his funeral on TV before he was dead.
They cap.
Speaking
That's
of
crazy.
people dying before they died, Netflix, y'all killed my grandfather a whole. How long was it before he was dead that they killed? I have to, because I done sat on it. When They See Us, phenomenal miniseries, one of my favorite of all time. It filled me with rage, but some of the Jarrell Jerome, you earned that Emmy, brother. I still watch that. It was a masterclass. Some of the best acting ever. The whole cast went crazy. Niecy Nash, everybody. Great telling that story. My grandfather is Elambe Brath, for those of the viewers that don't know. And so if you was watching that series, then you saw him and Numsa Brath, who's my grandmother's. Their presence was inside there. Shout out to the actors that played them.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He was a lot taller than my grandfather ever was, but it's all good. You know what I mean? He in the story. I'm glad that they ain't just skip over him. You know what I mean? However, when the exonerated 5 were exonerated, I guess maybe the actor who had to play my grandfather was prior commitment. I don't know. But they had the actor who played my grandmother get up there and speak because of the connection and relationship they had with the exonerated 5 in real life. And they had her say, my late husband, Elambe. Excuse me. The exonerated 5 got out when? 05, 07, something to that degree? Yeah. My grandfather died when I was 16 years old. In 20, what was that, 14? I
was about to say, I remember when your grandfather died.
Me and my mother was watching it. We was like, excuse us? That is not what it's ridiculous. Crazy. Put some respect on my mother's father's name. Okay, I don't know who I got to contact, but when I blow up, Ava, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it was your decision. I'm just saying we're going to have a small little conversation. And I'm going to be like, what happened? Because y'all couldn't do y'all Googles? My OG just died. What are y'all doing? With that being said, rest in peace. I just felt like I had to say that. It's not a Mandela effect, but it is. It may become one. Because now people done seen it. They think he been dead. He wasn't.
I'm done. Funny.
Another one of them, another popular Mandela effect is, do you guys remember the movie Shazam with Sinbad?
Yes. You talking about the Shaq one?
Yeah. There's a thing saying that this has never existed, and he has came out and said that I never did that movie. But he also came out afterwards and said that I lied. Yeah. And like he said, I definitely did that movie. That movie definitely exists. And I don't know how true this is because I didn't see the entire video, but I think. He did mention the CIA and say that this was a ploy by the CIA, and like they approached him and told him to say that.
Which makes that part of it,
which makes a lot more sense because it's like then like certain things, huh?
He lived.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
To tell on the CIA.
I mean, if it's not, if he dies, then it's like. That's kind of, suspicious in a way. But even still, like, I think a lot of people kind of knew that this was one of the, like, the Mandela effect in itself was one of those things that, like, could have been a ploy because it's trying to make it as if we live in different realities. That's what, like, the whole goal of it was. And, stuff like that is
There's a movie called The Mandela Effect on Hulu that I'm supposed to watch. It's about, like, a dude, like, discovering what it is, and then his life, like, starts, like, breaking down and, like... It kind of talked about the whole parallel dimensions and stuff. Yeah. I haven't watched it, but the trailer made it seem.
Have you caught up on Doctor Strange yet?
Well, that's
Doctor
a film.
Strange.
Loki.
I haven't.
Not
but
Loki. What's the
Falcon
woman?
and Winter Soldier?
No, the woman.
WandaVision?
Yeah.
I finished WandaVision.
Now, okay,
he finished.
so
He finished WandaVision.
I haven't started Loki. I finished Falcon and Winter Soldier yesterday.
Okay.
How'd you like it?
A lot. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like from the videos that I saw. That like was spoiler free, while it was on. The level of hate John Walker got just wasn't enough for me.
Wasn't enough?
Yeah, I hated him with every fibrous carbon in my being. Like I hate him.
Yeah,
and
very much so.
I can't think of any other word to describe him. I mean, he's a character. So
yeah, the character.
I hate plenty of characters. He looks stupid in a helmet, and that I guess that is about the actor. But sorry, Wyatt. He played Wyatt in something else. I don't remember the name of it, but he was a character named Wyatt in something else. So, but yeah, I hated him. Just hated him.
I really think that he accomplished his goal then. Because me personally, sure. I was like, this is how I know he's a good actor. Because I genuinely have disdain. Like I feel angry when he pops up on the screen. Like I don't like him speaking. I don't like his disposition. Nothing about him screams anything to me. But I do not like you, sir. And every chance I got, I was telling Bucky and Sam to whip his tail. But, of course, it didn't come down to it until like the 6th, 7th episode.
I'm gonna keep it 100. I guess this is a spoiler. I don't know. I understand that he's growing. You gotta let go of the demons and all of that. But I need Bucky to get some of that Winter Soldier back in. He was kind of getting tore up a majority of the fights in the season.
Facts.
Yeah, it's because he didn't care. I mean, he cares
My
about
favorite fight is when John was getting beat up.
By both of them?
No, by
Dora
the
Milaje.
Dora Milaje. He was like, they're
yeah.
not even super soldiers.
Yo, yes, that
Yes,
part
sir.
killed me. He's like, they're not even super soldiers. Like, I literally was yelling, "You're not like that. You're just a dude." Like,
Bro, you have
not him.
medals of honor. That is nothing compared to the world that these men live in. Like you don't even know Wakanda was a country until a year or two ago. Like, let's be honest. Like, you're not equipped for this type of you can't pick from the military and be like, yes, this is your new Captain America. Captain
the
America
original
wasn't even supposed to be in the military.
but yeah, but
You know what I'm saying? Like, you
he
can't
still
just
was in the military.
Yes, he was in the military, but like his whole thing was after he became Captain America, he became a mascot. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because remember, he was just like, I was supposed to get in the army, and I got you. Like, you feel me? And when I watched that back, I was just like, dang, that's so disrespectful. I'm an actual super soldier, got super strength. I just caught the man who killed the doctor who just made me.
Well,
I mean, he killed
apparently,
himself, but
being a super soldier wasn't that exclusive. Everybody's
yeah,
super
we
soldiers.
found out now.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm excited to start Loki.
Oh, man. No, you in for a ride.
But
A few of them, too.
yeah, I will say that. I don't get how white people, while it was on, like, were trying to downplay the like conversation of race in the show.
It's like the biggest
overtly
Yeah,
like
in
I thought that it was all subtle before seeing it, the way that this was like something that they were trying to downplay and like, oh, you guys are trying to put race into it, has nothing to do with this, yada yada yada. It's like it's literally explicitly talked about and stated, and like it doesn't even take long to get there. Like, I'm like, y'all just, but I mean,
I think that's the good thing about having live action, you know what I'm saying, adaptations, because in the comic books, racism, you can write racism, but it's never going to be as overt and as real, you know what I'm saying, until you think about the position, one, that Sam is in, you know what I'm saying, and like you think about what was done to Isaiah, you feel me, and it's like you really start to think like in real life, this is exactly how it would have went. You know what I'm saying? They would have, especially back in the 50s, 60s when Isaiah was alive, they would have never let
still
him.
is alive.
Well, I mean, like,
When he was Captain America.
yeah, like, when he was living in his prime as a young man, you know what I'm saying, moving buildings and whatnot, they would have never let.
Man said he took Bucky's arm.
Yeah.
Probably. But I thought he lost his arm when he fell.
No, he's like the mechanical arm. Like, he was already Winter Soldier.
Oh,
and
so
yeah,
he
he took part of that.
Yeah, and that's crazy. That's amazing. I wish that we could have like seen some sort of clip of that, but like those, it's really real, and it makes, and also the reaction to it is just as real. Like, you realize, okay, yeah, these people are still racist in America, even though we're living in a time where you would assume after, you know what I'm saying, after Donald Trump, I feel like they just went back dormant. You know what I mean? Like, they was all overt with their racism, you know what I'm saying? It was all...
Did they? Because they like stormed the Capitol in January.
I mean, true, but we ain't really had much of anything since then. Like, that was national news, at least.
True, but they stormed the Capitol. Like, it's not like it's very... like, that's probably the greatest racist-fueled act in, like, the last, like...
Ain't that treason?
Yes,
Yeah.
amongst other things.
Yeah, amongst a lot of other things.
Like, yeah, sure, they got quiet after that, but, like, they just had the Super Bowl. So it's off-season. Like, let them relax.
Well, the crazy part about that whole situation is the third cop that was working that day has died from suicide, which leads me to believe, what is the reason why these people who work there are starting, to die? Even though, you know what I'm saying, of course, if it was like something like from natural causes, I don't think anybody would be raising an eye at it. But suicide is different. You know what I mean? Like, what happened in this man's life that he just decided to end it in the past, 5-6 months? We're in the 8th month of the year, so that was January 6th. And this August 5th. So almost 6 to a T. 7 to a T.
Yeah, man. You know, they probably Epsteining them.
For what though?
Because
they probably saw something they wasn't supposed to see during that day. And they probably was saying like, yo, you know, this might be the story that you heard, but this might be what actually happened. Speaking of stuff like that, I was scrolling on TikTok, and I don't remember what the original clip of it was, but somebody had stitched with the video that, or no, he didn't stitch. He ended up editing. I guess he downloaded a video, and it was a part of his video. He was saying like, okay, I don't really know much about that, but this was a man who was in Katrina when the levees broke, and he said that he remembers vividly hearing booming noises, and a lot of people have like said this. A lot of people said that they blew up the levees and they didn't break. Yeah. And he was saying that he heard like booming noises, and like he said that once that happened, he said he remembers vividly a lady running down the street coming towards him saying, "They blew up the levees, they blew the levees, they blew the levees." And he said after, you know what I'm saying, after I can't remember exactly, like
conspiracy theories.
He was this ain't a theory, this is somebody who was there, and I believe, you know what I'm saying, people who was foot soldiers during that, because the way America treated them people, they treated them as if they weren't even residents of their own homes. You know what I'm saying? Like they were one. And he said after they put them in the camps and like corralled them into the Superdome, and he said they started to give people not vaccines, but shots. I don't remember what the shots were. I don't know what they were. He said tetanus shots.
Yeah, it was tetanus.
He said they were giving us tetanus shots and this, that, and the third. And then he said after that, they basically kicked them out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He said, I grabbed my nephews and I hightailed it to Chicago. And he was like, I wish I remembered more from the video, but like what he was saying was he had a video camera, but he said he to this day he's upset that he cannot find that video camera because he documented all of this stuff happening like as it was happening. And
so what does he think their reasoning for blowing the levees was?
Any other reason that America could have for attacking its own people? What was the reason for them to blow up the World Trade Center? What was the reason for them to sink the Titanic? What was the reason for them to do any of the things that they do? I'm sure that they all
have non-Americans on the Titanic.
There were plenty of non-Americans on the Titanic, but the Titanic sinking was because of they were the
also there's a theory
the
that
three
the Titanic
men
never sunk.
Yeah, it was the Oceanic?
No, Olympic.
Whichever ship that sunk, that was the ship that had 3 wealthy billionaires on it that were opposing the Federal Reserve, and plenty of people who backed the Federal Reserve was supposed to be on the ship, but one said he got sick, one just had a change of plans, and another one just didn't show up.
I think he was late.
Yeah, something like that.
By the time he got there, like it was an hour after they had left or something.
Yeah, something like that. And
no, he was happy.
Yeah,
like Michael Jackson on 9/11.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
Michael Jackson had a meeting at the World Trade Center, but he overslept on 9/11.
Dang.
Have you ever heard of a false flag event? A false flag event is a military term. It's where you attack your own people to make it to give you justification to attack somebody else. So 9/11, when they brought down the Twin Towers, what was the first thing we did? Went over to Iraq and dang near killed everybody.
Pause, brother. First thing we did was create impossibly stringent TSA laws. Then we went over to Iraq. That affect us to this day.
To this day.
Like, what is my 3.2 ounce bottle like, or my 3.5 ounce?
Bomb, brother.
It could definitely.
It's cologne, bro.
It could be petroleum jelly.
It could be a grenade.
Hey, y'all seen they take that white man to the seats?
Yes.
On that flight?
No, I did not see that.
You ain't see it?
They treating white men like niggas?
He punched a flight attendant and apparently touched 2 separate women's breasts.
For that.
And
The Asian people in Nelson was dying laughing looking at that on TV
Hey, I'm gonna keep it real. They suspended the staff because they said they didn't handle the situation properly. But me personally, if I was a plane passenger and I saw somebody punch a flight attendant but before punching a flight attendant, he accosted 2 women and touched their breasts. If I saw somebody do that, I feel like planes need small jail rooms. Like they need those types of things.
Where's the air marshal?
Do you know how much
It was
infrastructure
Spirit.
a small jail room?
Spirit can't afford no air marshals.
Well, on TMZ, they were saying that they already subdued him. There was no need to put that on his mouth. The plane was about.
How you subdue a man who's squeezing breasts?
They had him already strapped into the seat and everything. He was still yelling profanities, but they were saying that.
I would have stuffed a sock in there too. Shut up.
That tape over his mouth. He could have choked. He could have.
What you mean? He was yelling profanities.
Well, it came off because he was saying, "Help me."
Not funny. Not funny.
Very funny. It's hilarious.
Well, I saw something on the news that said the airline backed the crew by saying that they.
Well, if it was Spirit, that sounds like that's right up their MO. They should
I
back
thought
the
it was Spirit. If it was a Spirit, they said that. I read that that specific crew has been suspended.
Yeah, they said on TV today.
This is
I mean,
You know
I
how
feel like
pissed I'd be if
I
a
feel
nigga
like
was
it's one of
knocking
those
out the homies
situations
and
where like
accosting women and
we're gonna tell them
get
we
suspended for
suspended
handling
y'all,
them?
but we probably not gonna suspend y'all. For
who's
real.
even checking? Who's at the airport every day like, I better not see not nail one of them?
Honestly, I feel like there has to be some other way to like subdue people on the plane than duct taping them to a seat.
put 'em to sleep.
Y'all need a place where you can just throw him into the luggage compartment. Like
There's
they gotta be
literally
able to do
either the captain's closet or subdue, because already, and this is weird to know, but apparently the infrastructure of airplanes has always been, like commercial airplanes, has always been extremely inefficient.
that. Makes sense.
Like apparently planes shouldn't be that long. Which is wild to know, but like apparently like there's extra work that has to go into making sure planes that are as long as commercial planes and private jets are like fly well, because like it's inefficient for it to be that long.
Makes
And when
sense.
you look at planes, like the first planes it was holding 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Then it was like, hey, we can transport large amounts of people over, and it's like wonderful, but like it's a stretch limo in the air, like
Yeah. And then on top of that, you got there's like regular planes, you know what I'm saying? You can see there's 2 or 3 propellers, you know what I'm saying? Like you have a whole jet engine
yeah.
attached to your plane.
Have y'all ever thought about how expensive one plane tire is?
No.
No,
It's like $200-something thousand,
that makes a lot of sense.
or like 100. It's either like 100-something or 200-something.
Did
I
those
would
go
believe.
flat?
I mean, they probably don't go flat, but they probably. I mean, it could probably go flat from a bad landing,
Yeah.
but other than that, it's probably just natural wear and tear.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 200,000.
But yeah, that's why like it's just so inefficient to like get a private jet, like own one, private plane, because it's like the upkeep. If any one thing goes wrong on this, it's literally tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, because
yeah,
it's
I
a
could
plane.
imagine. I could imagine. It's like getting a BMW in America, because you know you got to service. Your service is coming from overseas.
Yeah.
Everything. So
And
like you're
only
paying
overseas.
mad bread.
Why did people think there was a serial killer in Atlanta when only one person died?
Because other people were dying at the same time,
But it was different types of death.
completely unrelated. But that plus of how graphic the death was, like the way he killed her and her dog,
Yeah,
is like
it was-
the type of stuff that serial killers do.
Right.
So even though, like, people are probably like, maybe this is the first strike, but this person is serial killer vibes. But the thing with serial killers, unfortunately, is you need them to kill
Again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if this is a serial killer and they're good, we're not gonna catch them until there's more victims.
Exactly.
So I think that's another reason why the police don't want that to be spread, because this is gonna sound weird, but say you're clearly sick in the head and you murk someone, and you just did it. You whatever the inspiration, the voice, whatever, and then everyone, the body you know you caught, everyone's like, oh my God, there's a massive serial killer. Off that alone, I'm going to kill somebody else. Like, you're about to go get more. Oh, they putting weight on my name. Just wait, 3 more, and then they going to start calling me the Piedmont Slasher. I need that.
Because it's like there's Well, they said there were 6 people on camera that might have witnessed the killing, and of course the other cameras were not working that night. But my thing was, why are you walking your dog at, what was it, 1 a.m.? Or was she found at 1 a.m.?
Yeah, so she was just walking the dog at night.
And I'm trying to figure out, did he come, like, was there any defensive wounds? Like, did they find any DNA under her fingernails or the dog's fingernails, or
Probably not.
and the DNA on the dog's mouth?
Most serial killers who, get away with murder are insanely smart, and usually they understand the way the police operate. So they're gonna be cautious to those types of things. You know what I'm saying? The reason why most people get caught for murder is because they're stupid.
Well, he just
They
got
kill
lucky
somebody
because
on
the
camera.
cameras wasn't working.
Because they're usually killing people they know.
Yeah,
That's the thing that
Person.
makes serial killers difficult. They're usually killing people they don't
Don't
know.
know.
And
They kill
most
people
murder
they don't know,
victims Are
yeah.
killed by people they know.
Yeah.
So it's once you okay, clearly nobody that knew this person did this. It actually gets really hard. Like, what do you start doing? Just picking people out of the
'cause it's-
air. Like,
your
who-
leads.
Who could have did it?
Yeah.
The
There's no
motive is just they're
suspects.
sick. Dang, this is difficult.
There's
Like
no
a lot of sick
suspects.
niggas. John is sick and he works in evidence. Like,
Right.
it's
Like
gonna
they
be
say,
hard
man.
to do this.
After the first 48 hours, the lead is the odds of solving a murder goes down significantly.
But not in the hood.
Facts,
Just be up in there. Y'all seen that picture on Twitter of the dude with the
burger?
McDonald's?
Bruh,
So what are you in there doing?
he in
He
there.
in there singing.
The craziest
They
part
said
about
they
it
cut it
is,
for him too.
fact, I think that might have been the fold of the
bite
burger.
size.
And it looked like it was cut, but I think that might have been like the bun of the burger. Like, you know how sometimes
It just
buns-
folded like that?
It just folded like that.
hope
We
that
had
ain't-
this conversation, but like I've always moved, like in my mind, I've always moved as if there was 1 or 2 serial killers at large, because I've always felt like there was, and statistically speaking, they say that if just walking on any given street, you pass at least 1 or 2, you know what I'm saying, that have killed before. And the TV shows, they always catch them, but most of these people, they'll kill, and there's plenty of people that have gone missing and their bodies never are found. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you get to that point where you're looking for, someone like a correlation between, like, you can't really investigate anything on a missing persons. You know what I'm saying?
You just gotta look
Right.
for
You know what
them
I'm saying? And keep
in
looking
the
and
area
looking
that
and
they
looking.
went last seen.
You know what I'm saying? Serial killers who, like the most prolific one, which was a black man, he only got indicted on, I think, 8 to 10 women.
You talking about the dude who killed like 90 something?
Yes, and he said he killed over 99. I think he lost count at 99.
at 99.
And it's like he started. and
Isn't somebody interviewing him? Isn't there a documentary or something about this lady?
I think there is a documentary. about
it
him
might
coming
be.
out.
It might be. I haven't seen it, but you might be right.
I
but
think I
he
saw a
confessed all
commercial
that
for
on
it.
his deathbed because
Yeah.
he was sentenced to death.
And I think the thing that's funny about, like,
Oh, he's dead.
yeah,
I think now.
Oh, then never mind. Somebody else.
I think the thing that, well, not funny, but the thing that's like really, I guess, interesting about serial killers in the sense of like the pursuit of trying to get them is the best thing for the cops, unfortunately, is that like the general public don't feel that feeling that's kind of surging through Atlanta right now, which is like a general sense of eeriness and panic and fear and around this figure of a serial killer, because that only creates more ammunition and power and motivation for that serial killer. And I think one of the I watched the Night Stalker documentary on Netflix.
That man.
And
was
I mean, his body
a
count was
menace.
high, and it's nowhere near a 99. He had 20 something, and like potentially more, but like a confirmed like 20
And the
something.
way he got caught was crazy.
Yeah, and he not only that, I think it's wild, right? Like the fact that he was able to go for as long as he was, but like there were times where like he would like hit somebody or kidnap someone who got away, or like he try and kill someone and they survived, and he's mad describable. I always think about, man, if somebody did something to me, how would I suck at like describing people.
Yeah.
Like how would I get a cop? What was he? 6 foot, 5'11", slightly taller than me, I guess. I don't
Right.
know. What did he weigh? I don't know. I don't know how much I weigh. Like I don't know what to give him. He was I could have described him. Yeah, he's tall, really skinny. He's Mexican, got long, straggly hair, and he smelled terrible. Like, I could have given him that. And he went for years terrorizing LA. Like, it just...
It was a different time, though, too. So
True.
Yeah,
But it's just
they didn't
like...
have all the technology they got to catch people now.
I just think... And then you even think of I mean, I'm someone who, like, watches so much of this stuff, whether it's true crime, documentaries. I have a YouTube guy that Mr. Ballin. Shout out Mr. Ballin. I'm like your biggest fan. You're not gonna see this, but still. And his like whole page is dedicated to the like creepy, dark and mysterious, strange, dark and mysterious. And like every time I'm watching these things, I'm always just like, as I'm letting, I guess, all the information come to me, I'm trying to best traverse in my head not just who this is, bump that. How can the police get to them? You know what I mean? Whether it's an open thing or something that they have solved. And it's like, man, serial killers, they really like change the game up. Like they really make it difficult because it's like, especially ones that travel. And like, I mean, well traveled. Like there are serial killers who touch all over a nation.
Like the man who killed Versace. And he was one of those serial killers that kill other people, so your main target isn't like known. Just like the DC sniper, his main target was his ex-wife.
Yep.
But he was, you know what I'm saying, going around sniping random people, preparing
like in
for
Jack
that.
Reacher.
Oh, I didn't see the
The
film,
first
but
one.
Sure.
The first one?
Yeah.
I don't even remember it.
Well, remember the first scene, he shoots like 5 people, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now,
Spoiler,
yeah. So
Sorry.
like, yeah,
It's fine.
yeah.
I'm not gonna watch Jack.
yeah,
Reacher.
the first scene is like he
Shout out Tom Cruise.
he takes like 5 or 6 shots, but the person he wanted to hit was his third shot, I think, third or fourth shot, and it's like it was exactly like that. But you know, over time, you know what I'm saying, not all in one setting, because he did shoot all those people in one setting.
But like we're talking about serial killers who
Yeah,
have a
move
target, but they move. You know what I mean?
to throw off the investigations. And
Speaking of Versace, and I mean maybe my brain just won't let this trailer go. Have y'all seen the trailer for House of Gucci?
I haven't, but I saw that
This
there
movie's
was a
gonna be so
movie
good.
going out.
This movie's gonna be so good. I smell potential Oscar nom for Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah,
She Adam Driver. I can just tell that he's just gonna be so poised. It just looks so phenomenal. The song, like, I be on YouTube, and so it keeps coming up. I'm like, you don't have to keep showing me. I'm gonna watch it. But like the music for it, oh, it's gorgeous. It's just the best trailer. Like,
Have you been watching
since
Raising Kanan?
Dune trailer. No, I have to. I haven't started yet. I have to really convince myself to, because I'm not like interested in Kanan's story. So I have to really be
It's
like,
okay.
oh, that's how they move it. Please. That's crazy.
I'm like, oh man, you told me we supposed to watch that.
That's a bet.
You know a movie
Trust no one.
You know a
what I
movie
mean?
I've watched twice in the past 2 weeks, and it reminded me how much I loved it in the first place. Fury.
Fear. You know that's one of my favorite. No,
Facts.
that is my favorite army or military movie of all time.
Facts.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt is,
That was all-star performances. Just
facts all across
like,
the board.
All across the board.
All
I love
across
them.
the board.
I love a good ensemble film where nobody comes to play. Like,
Right.
and that's
Like watching it over and over, it just like I start to think about 2 things. War specifically in your own country, having to fight, you know what I'm saying, forces coming to your country.
home. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though you know, like I'm pretty sure, well, most of them were just following orders, but they're still, you know what I'm saying, fighting to win. You know what I mean? It's like at the same time, like the evils in the what it does to good people. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's crazy. Like you really is one of those things where it's like, yo, put in his predicament or put in his shoes, like what the heck would I do? You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just like one of those it's a place that is no place for anything other than, you know what I'm saying, survival. Like that's one of the things.
I always think about the stories that I hear where like mercy is shown at war. And I don't know, maybe like this is just the ones that I hear. But the person like always ends up being someone who should have been killed. Like there's like 4 stories about Hitler when he was like in the military about how like people could have easily murked him.
I believe
all showed him mercy,
I bet you they
became
regret
Hitler.
that.
You know what I mean? Like, and like just different stories like that. Like it never, but you hear about how merciless war in and of itself is, and hearing about moments of mercy, like kind of like humanizes the fact that they're in this thing that takes away all the human components of you. Like, I mean, you can't really try and hold on to your humanity or your morals or your scruples at war, unless you're just like okay with going in like I'm gonna die and that's what it is.
Right.
And like not even like just okay with it because they gotta be okay with it, but like you're going planning to die. You're on some I'm not gonna kill anyone, and then at that point, I mean that wouldn't exist today because there's no more drafts, but
Yeah.
it did exist back in World War One, II, Korea and Vietnam, all that.
I saw a TikTok of this old war veteran. It was a black man who was in World War II, and he said they got into a firefight with their own soldiers. It was white soldiers versus black soldiers over in, I think it was France. He was in. He said there was an area where the black soldiers like to frequent, and you know what I'm saying. Of course, the MPs found out, and apparently that they didn't take kindly to this, so they came out there rounding them up, brought them back, and then so they started to find places that were black only. You know what I'm saying? And of course, that's when that really pissed them off. So like they brought guns to one of the situations, and of course he was like, well, they got guns, we had to go get our own. So it became like a situation where what I'm saying, they're trying to get them to leave and they're not wanting to leave, and then of course the people that they're fighting for in the nation, they're the ones that are like, yo, what is this racist stuff y'all got going on? Like, what I'm saying, let these people, what I'm saying, be like, we don't care that they're black. Y'all are the ones that are bringing this racist Western stuff over here. And he said he said that, they exchanged fire. 27 people got injured. He said it ended with like 27 people injured. I don't think anybody died.
This is black versus white?
Yeah, black versus white people.
In another country?
In another country. In
Imagine
France, I
that.
believe. And he was just like, and I posted it on Twitter. I can't remember exactly the numbers, but I know a few of them got arrested. A few of them got kicked out. No, I don't think anybody died though. And he was just like, ain't that something? You know what I'm saying? We're fighting for the country that one isn't
They
gonna
was on the
accept
same
us when
team?
it comes. Same. This is the United States Army fighting each other.
That sounds like something U.S. would do.
Yeah.
Fighting each other simply because they were racist enough to not allow their own soldiers to blow off some steam. Like, these are pubs, bro. These are bars. We're going
Nah,
to
y'all can't go to
drink and
bars.
relax. And they're like, no. What?
I mean, you got to think about this from a racist white man's perspective. There's nothing that can really ruin your relaxing time more than seeing a nigger doing it too.
Of course. That is actual facts. No
So-
cap, no kizzy.
They was like, no, y'all got to step. I recently was wondering, I guess, someone that I follow said something on her story, and I swiped up and asked her if it applied to her as well, and she was like, yeah, I think it applies to everybody, because she said everybody, so I was like, does this apply to you as well? So I wanted to table this for us. She stated that she doesn't believe, she was like, I don't care what you say, no one is 100% loyal.
To what?
I think she was speaking in terms of relationships. I only assume that because a few slides later, she was like, y'all can have him, he for the streets. She's not going to see this, but if she does, hey. But is that a statement you guys can understand, agree with? I guess the question is, do you believe someone, any one person, can be 100% loyal to any one thing or cause or situation or whatever the case may be?
I'm going to start out by saying I dislike when people make blanket statements like that. Like when women say all men, or when men say all women, because you haven't dated or you don't know all men and all women. So you don't know if, all men or all women are like you are stating them to be. So I'm going to say, yes, I do believe somebody can be 100% loyal to a thing, cause, person, whatever. because you have like devout uh, Muslims who are 100% loyal to their religion, and jihadists who are 100% loyal to the cause. That if I kill myself and however many other people, I'm going to get however many virgins when I go to heaven. There's people in relationships who have not stepped out on each other that have been 100% loyal. So I personally believe, yes, somebody can be.
There's people that are 100% loyal to their block and will go to war with
Yeah.
people down the street for a street corner. So
I just think she was just speaking from a place of hurt.
and the fact that she's included herself in it just lets me know that she doesn't
She
believe.
might not have been 100% loyal.
Yeah, she doesn't believe that she can be 100% loyal, so she won't be. That's one. I feel like it's stuff like that is already, you already set yourself up for failure with that mindset.
Yeah.
If you say I cannot be 100% loyal, then you won't be. You know what I'm saying? Like like he said, there are plenty of people that have not stepped out on their significant others, haven't stepped out on what they believe in, and to say that nobody, being that we are human, yes, we can make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And people can make bad decisions in the heat of emotions. But if they're not the type of person that lets their emotions control their actions, then 100% yes. If you, I do get what she's saying, in the sense that, you know what I'm saying, maybe there's somebody that you are attracted to, and like even then, if you set it in your mind that if you get the opportunity you will, then you've already set yourself up for failure. You know what I mean?
Before we, is it recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. So, as I was saying, I was talking to a female, young lady, a young woman, sorry, recently, and I was like, say you're marrying a man. This man is your everything. You're planning your life. Like, you're 100% locked in. And night before the wedding, you find out that in his past, he, in some way, was abusive towards a woman. I was like, and you can define it. Whether it's he raped a woman, whether it's he was physically abusive, verbally, whatever it is. But it's just like, can you still walk down that aisle tomorrow and see him and make that? And she was like, and I asked her specifically because she's like super fights hard for women. She's one of team women all the time. She's gonna support and show love for all women. She's against all type of harm and violence to women, especially in that dynamic. And she eventually got to I wouldn't be able to do it. And I was like, but you also said a prerequisite for you to be able to marry someone is that you love them unconditionally.
Yeah.
Because that's literally what she said. And she was just like, a point is being made.
That's very.
And it's just when you, even just under the hypothetical of these extremes, it's like I've always said, I can't say I would never hit a woman. And I use the same extreme every time. So because if I come home and she's drowning our kids in the tub, I don't have the brain power to just restrict. So I'm just gonna knock her out and ask questions after
Later.
when
Right.
she wakes back up and she's tied to the chair. Like, why were you drowning my kids? Did they try to drown you first? What can I get answers to the questions?
Right.
Because whereas that's a wild extreme, you gotta, when you talking about unconditional, those extremes got to be taken into account. Because if I can't
Facts.
hold myself to those extremes, then I won't make the claim that I can love unconditionally. And I think we can have those extremes a lot easier for things like familial relationships and other types of bonds. But with romantic relationships, it's so easy. I feel like not so easy, but I think it's easier for extremes to really warp the person that you see, that you're in a relationship with.
Right.
You find out something as small as someone had sex with your best friend before they ever knew you could change how you view them.
Facts.
Nonetheless, something as extreme as if they murdered someone or if they
Right.
used to abuse someone or if they're in. I was like, what if you found out the person you're about to marry, everything you know about their life and identity is fake because they're actually in WITSEC. And all you know is their WITSEC identity. But then because you're about to marry them, they let you know everything I've told you for the most part. Who I am as a person is the same me.
Right.
But all the information you know about me is false because I'm in WITSEC. Even something like that can completely shatter the foundation of
Yeah.
what? So I just think it's really...
Witness protection, you mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. WITSEC is Witness Protection Program. So it's just I think just unconditional love, man, I think that's a hard thing. I think
I feel like that would scare me.
I think the only...
if I found out
like-
my wife was in WITSEC, I'll be like, yo, what did you
From
find out?
who?
What did you witness?
On me, the
We need
question
to
is,
know
so what
right
did you
now.
see?
Because if it got anything to do with MS-13, I'm leaving you.
Because if they still looking, I need to know.
Right.
All
I need to know.
But yeah, so I just
They still looking.
that's a big fact.
More than likely.
Big fact. But yeah, man. So I just think it's really difficult. Like God loves His children unconditionally.
Facts.
Am I at that level with anything or anyone?
Ooh, that is a very good question.
Like, you know what I mean?
I saw a tweet that said there was this young lady who was tweeting, who was looking at her mother's wedding pictures, and she asked her, like, why do you look so sad in all of these pictures? And she said that morning, her mother found out that her father had gotten another woman pregnant.
Still
And
married.
yeah, she still married him. And she was like, I wish she would have left, even though that means that I wouldn't be here today. You know what I'm saying?
Well, she might have, just from a different father.
Yeah,
would it
different
be the
woman.
exact
No,
same
actually
person?
different mother, because the sperm came from her.
Oh yeah, true.
Came from her pops.
True.
I think about that. I used to think about that a lot. Like, if my dad married a different woman, like, would I still be the one that won? Like, I don't know. That might be a weird question.
I think to answer that, you have to first establish when do you believe a soul, I guess, enters the physical shell. Do you believe sperm cells have souls?
No, but
So
I do
when does
believe
the soul enter.
once it enters the egg, because I have seen that on video, and like there's this like explosion, like a weird like
So you
explosion
think
that happens.
that's when the soul gets there?
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Interesting.
Because like it would only make sense then, because at some point, some random point during these 9 months, I get a soul. Like I would assume that from the moment.
Well, maybe it's not a random point. Maybe it's random to you, but it's
Well, yeah,
specific
maybe it's
to God.
random to me, but like it would make sense that would be the beginning because of the way it looked. Like,
But what if one would make the argument that your soul existed before then?
I think your soul does, but it's waiting for your
So
physical body to be able
Okay, I see what
to
you're
receive it.
saying.
You know what I'm saying? I do believe, because it's the Bible
So
says,
where's the
if we're
soul
not
bank?
here, somewhere in heaven, I'm assuming.
You think there's just a bank of souls? And they get
Probably.
shot down into sperm that go into eggs.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense because he said, it says in Revelation that the people who are killed during the tribulation are sealed directly under His throne. So there's one example of a place that holds souls. So like I'm pretty sure He could have another storehouse for the origination.
You
Like
think there's a conveyor belt?
probably not.
You know,
I don't feel
last
like
year
He
was
would need one.
last year was the first year that there was more people that died than they were born.
That's
Because of
insane.
COVID?
No, just I don't know.
Probably
Probably
with the added.
It's hard to have COVID that year and then be like, it's unrelated. Like,
Right.
that's
It's probably-
It
It's
probably is
probably-
related.
Probably would have to be COVID.
Yeah.
I don't think COVID is. Well, no. Let me not
I'm
say
saying
I
the
don't think
contribution
like,
COVID gave to
yeah,
the
the
body
contribution
count.
that
Yeah.
COVID gave to the body count, along with all the people who died, freak
Regularly.
accidents,
Yeah.
and you know what I'm saying, died in their sleep or
that's
died
crazy.
being murdered and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yo, murder's a crazy concept, bro.
it is a very
You're
crazy
alive,
concept.
and then a specific person decided you would not be anymore, and they were right. That's like,
And they succeeded.
that's crazy, yo.
That
Like,
is crazy.
and that, when that thought entered my head, I guess coming full circle to what we were talking about before the cameras came on, while I was watching all those YouTube videos today. Because, like, the dude whose page it is, he's just going through all of these people who have died in these gang wars and all of these situations. I'm just like, bro, this is a lot of murder. Like, just straight up murder.
Man, when there's a TikTok page that like posts old Chicago videos, like old like Chicago videos that like the soldiers like were recording on their phones and stuff, and it's like bro, when you just hearing the way they talk about it, these boys, they welcome it. They want you to give them any excuse for them to just raise a gun and shoot you. And that is crazy. Like, that is really insane to me. I remember there was a portion in social media, like from a good 20, I say the middle of 2011 to like 2014, where if you wasn't careful on Twitter, you could very well just see somebody being murdered.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We had, and I think I don't think like our parents really understand that like a lot of us are desensitized to death simply because of that fact. Like we've seen it. Like we've seen, not necessarily I've seen it in person, you know what I'm saying? So really it doesn't have the effect of traumatization because I saw it in person, but I have seen it. You know what I'm saying? I seen it pass on my phone screen.
Yeah.
You feel me? And didn't know what I was watching and watched the entire video. You know what I mean? And it's like that type of stuff really, really, you don't realize like how often it really happens in these kids' neighborhoods. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's the craziest
Very
part
often.
about it.
Every
Like
day.
there was,
Watching a video, one of the videos today, I don't remember who it was, but it was definitely about in Chicago. A young man got killed, and he was like, he literally said, the set that the person who was a part of, it was like they got back in one of the fastest retaliations ever in 24 hours, killing the dude who killed him. Like,
What?
like
Was there witnesses or something? Like,
just witnesses to almost all of these occasions.
most of the time it's witnesses, but then the streets talk too.
Yeah, streets talk too, but especially in Chicago, because I'm a fan of so many Chicago rappers, and most of the Chicago rappers I listen to are all either the same gang, even if they're different sets, they're usually all the same gang, and then like the one that's not the same gang has the same ops, so it doesn't matter. But when these things happen, they really only have the opportunity to happen in public.
Yeah.
Like, not even just beyond the fact of like, oh, well, it's murder. Like, these people all live in projects. So if you're the ops, like, the most you can get is driving past the outside of their projects.
Yeah.
You can never catch nobody in no type of situation where there's
Where
not
it's
going to
just
be
you and
witnesses.
them, unless you go to school with them.
And
even
a lot
still,
of these dudes drop out of
it's
school
on
simply
site.
because they're going to school at the same school that some of their ops go to. That's why 600 Breezy stopped going to school. Like, he dropped out of high school because he was like, when he moved, the high school he was going to, his ops was there. Dudes was trying to fight him, beat him up, and kill him every day. So he was like, I'm not going to school no more.
Very understandable.
Plus the fact he
It is a shame,
anyway.
yeah.
So
Chicago is like one of the most notorious cities for killing off their talent.
yeah, a lot of rappers that go in Chicago. So many that you forget how many people that aren't rappers but are just associated or close to also die. Because we can name 2015
Man,
rappers that we know from Chicago
Bruh.
that's victims, and then people who become immortalized by other rappers like
right.
Odie
Vigo.
Perry never rapped, or at least not to my knowledge, but he's the reason it's O Block. So I know his name. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe I think Tuka started rapping, but whether he did or didn't,
I don't think he was. I don't think he did. I think it was JoJo that started rapping.
probably.
JoJo
And so
was-
like
JoJo-
another person immortalized by you know what I mean his set, and so it's like these names we know.
Them specifically, that situation specifically. Why are you driving by Lil Reese, telling him
Because
you gonna kill him?
because
This man's nickname at the time already was the Grim Reaper. He had already established himself as the Grim Reaper before this situation.
and it's a fact, but you got to remember that
That was one of the scariest
Is-
times
is-
I've ever seen anybody say anything. He looked dead in the camera and said, "JoJo, I'm gonna kill you," as they were driving off, and it was so
rest
serious.
in peace, Lil JoJo, man.
Yeah, R.I.P. to him.
But I mean, it's very few. Like, I think one thing that rest in peace FBG Duck that he has said in an interview one time that like not a lot of these dudes don't have this mentality. And he was just like, he was saying like something like F the ops or something like that, and he was like, I mean, they real niggas though. I mean, like they not, but they is, in the sense of like, I mean, they really out here. They really catching bodies. They really active. They really putting in work and putting in pain.
Right.
But like they're not real in the sense of like they're the other side. But he not gonna question like their outsideness and how
Right.
about it they are. And like a lot of times dudes don't have that level of respect for their opponent or for their adversaries. Or even if they do, man, you start feeling untouchable.
JoJo tweeted with his
you
location.
feel untouchable. You feel untouchable. You feel like if he trying to come, he ain't no way he gonna catch you like and get the drop. You gonna bust for it, whatever the case may be. And things happen. Unfortunately.
That's the craziest part about it. He tweeted with his location on.
We don't want to end the episode on such a somber note. So here's my random question to y'all. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. If you had to fight a wild animal. No easy choices, so don't say nothing like, I'll fight a shrimp. If you had to fight a wild animal, a massive beast, what animal would you go with and why?
A hyena.
Bobcat.
You're done for.
You're definitely done.
Why? Why for these choices?
Well, how am I done for? If I catch a hyena 1-on-1,
You really.
I mean, if you catch
it's a
one
wild
lacking,
dog.
good job.
Yeah,
because
if you
it's
catch
hard
one
to find
lacking.
them dolo, but even still, a hyena?
Yeah, I would not. I would
They're
not.
so bowed.
I would not approach a hyena. And the only reason I feel like I could take a bobcat is for one reason and one reason only. There have been multiple people like that have been hiking that survived when they were not intending to. So that's lets me know enough that enough people have killed bobcats for me to feel like if I had to fight something, I would choose a bobcat. And as long as I got a knife big enough to stab through its neck, I'm gonna be all right.
Oh no, this is a bare knuckle brawl.
Oh my God.
then I'm definitely
We ain't got
beating
no
up a
weapons.
hyena.
We ain't got no
yeah, you don't have
I'm
a
weapons.
definitely piecing up a hyena.
I might have to change
No,
my
just one.
because oh my goodness, because bobcats are usually like the smaller of the big cats.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
them
yeah,
and like
ones
lynxes.
I
or
feel like I
lynx.
can choke out a bobcat.
He said a big beast.
Hey, that's
I
still
mean, a bobcat's big enough. You
yeah,
can
that's
make that
definitely big
choice.
enough.
What would you choose?
So this is really difficult for me because all of the animals I feel like I'd have the best chance with just off of if it has claws or talons, it's gonna nix me because I think about like the fact that what I see as their reach isn't their reach. So I think, oh, I dodged it. No, my intestines are on the ground. It's tough. So I'm like, what's clawless, right? And of course it brings me to apes and primates.
Yeah,
But
nah.
baboons are crazy and they have long gold teeth.
Yeah.
Gorillas are gorillas. Chimpanzees rip people's face off. So I'm like, what can I really get shaken with? And so I thought about it. And though I know this thing would probably end me, I'd go head up with a wildebeest. Only because
It's a lot
They-
smaller than an ox.
I didn't even know that. I'd go head up with a wildebeest simply because it takes them forever to change direction and they don't have talons or claws. All the other things that take, like
mean,
bears,
hooves.
like take a long time to change direction, but it don't gotta really, it hit me, I'm
Facts.
juking and it's, femoral artery.
Right.
So a wildebeest
man.
is going, if I get my agilities up, it's going, you know what I mean, have his troubles keeping up with me. At some point I could, you know what I mean, sock it in the eye or something. That's what I go wildebeest.
If I got a bare knuckle, I might change it to a harpy eagle.
I'm not doing nothing with wings, bro.
I mean, the only reason a harpy eagle is because if you get it like from the back, like the back of his neck, it's over with. Like
How you get behind it? It
I don't
can
know.
fly and you can't.
I don't, I don't know. But hey, look, at least I got a chance. Like at least.
You up and fly through the air.
See that at least with every other animal, I have no course of action. With that, I can be like, if I get behind you and I get your neck, you're dead. So
Man.
that's what I'm doing.
I'm doing nothing with
Good
wings
luck.
that can pick me up.
Facts. Harpy eagles are one of the biggest birds.
If it decides we're going for a ride, it doesn't even have to go high to end me.
I'm not gonna lie, I might have to
if it gets to like midway through a healthy tree and lets me go, it won.
I might have to.
So they got it.
I might have
That's
to
funny.
sacrifice a portion of my arm, bruh, and just to get it,
You
cause
still didn't say why a hyena, and I want to hear this.
I just feel like I could beat up a hyena. I don't know why. Now, I wasn't thinking about a pack of hyenas. I was just thinking 1-on-1, me and the
Yeah.
hyena
You
go
can
ahead.
understand one because a pack, you're
yeah.
getting
I was
a fact, right? Because
yeah, obviously, if it's a pack, I'm not.
surround you, it's over.
They smoking CB tonight.
But yeah,
Real
I just feel like I don't know. A hyena is not like 1-on-1. A hyena, they're definitely stronger in packs because they're pack animals. So 1-on-1, it would be like we're on even ground. Like,
I feel you.
what are you gonna do? Bite me? Like, Come on.
Yeah, but I can kick you.
Exactly.
Like, I can kick your head. That's gonna hurt a lot. So
Yes, I ain't by itself. That may be a good choice. It may be.
yeah, I feel like wild dogs.
I've heard kangaroos
Would
said
definitely-
a lot, and I just feel like those people underestimate
They-
the upper body
bro,
strength of kangaroos.
I don't
and the
think-
fact that they
forget
stand
the
on their
upper-
tails.
I was about to,
And
I was about to say, forget the upper
I
body
don't-
strength.
Why
They
is
lean
that
back
tail
one
that
moment.
strong?
If they lean back 1 second,
And then they be mad brawling.
Bro,
like,
they be brolic as heck.
bro, you're getting kicked like with a foot that's this long. Like this is all your torso. You're getting flung to the ground, and then they're trying to scratch you. Like they have talons, B.
Dub. Yeah.
It's a dub.
With that being
I'm not fighting
said-
anything from Australia. Just
On me.
If it hails from Australia, I'm not tussling with it. I don't care if it's an emu, a cassowary, none of that. None. Them little frilled
I don't even want
lizards
to smoke
from
with
holes.
koalas.
None of
Koalas
that.
got it. With that being said, y'all already know it's another episode in the can. It's the YSO Podcast. Ashton was out of the country, you know what I mean, getting her big vacation vibes on, and that's why she wasn't with us, but she will be in tune for the next episode. And that next episode going to be a real special one because we've been cooking up something. I got something crazy spicy for y'all. It's about to be picante up in here. With that being said, you know where you can
Parsley.
find me on Instagram. It's at thevillain.5390. 5390. So follow the Instagram. The Twitter is RIP Lions. So follow that too. And you can find all my music everywhere that music exists. Or if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, if you just click the link in my bio, it'll take you to my link tree with all of the important links, with all of the things that I'm doing and all of that. With that being said, y'all,
if you want to follow me, go watch a previous episode. I say it at the end.
smart,
If you
wise.
would love to follow me, you can follow me at _skip to my shoe on Twitter and Instagram. And you can also follow me at my producer page at prodbyck.tve.
And you already know where you can find the page itself. Of course, on Instagram, it's YSO Podcast. And on Twitter, it's YSO_podcast. If you're listening to this podcast, then go ahead to the YouTube and subscribe. And if you're watching it on YouTube, still subscribe. Go ahead and click the like button, comment so we can get the engagement. And, of course, turn on that notification bell so that you get all of the notifications whenever we drop heat for y'all. With that being said, it has been your host. We are the YSO Podcast. We'll see you next time. But until then, we out.
Holla.
Outside.